Coach, we find ourselves at the foot of the Rockies, Denver, Colorado, for this edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
Come on, set. 60 Pittsburgh.
You don't want none, baby. You don't want none. Hey, you don't want to see me. You don't want it. Cash.
Now the first carry here for Phillip Lindsay. Give him 3 there on the first play of the game, and it's second down.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on second down.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7.
You draw corpus.
On second down, a run with Lindsay. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort from minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up.
Bravo.
Mike, 55. Right there in the middle. 55. Watch the pass.
What?
Mike 55.
Get it.
On third down, he'll drop to throw. This is hauled in by Deontay Burnett. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Denver has the first down. The play going for 15 yards.
Set. 15 line. 15 line.
Check. Fresno.
They just do get the playoff as he'll look to throw. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion. On second down, it's Lindsay. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on third down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Mike, 55. Check, 55. Mike, I got you, Pop. What?
Leo. Now.
They'll drop the throw. He's going to sling this deep downfield. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up fourth down.
He had a good game catching the ball in the backfield a week ago, and they're going to try and involve him in that way in this game as well. But you can tell scouting is taking over. They're making it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, defensively, they told us, hey, we've got to take him out of the passing game, limit it to just short runs, because he can really impact this offense.
Let's go now. Come on, check. Watch 54. It's just me and you.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Oh, he's going to air it out right away. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. picked off around the 41. And the return comes to a halt right at the 44-yard line. CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape, he's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
Watch the curve. Watch the curve. Check. Crunch. Crunch. Crunch.
6-6. Pull it high.
Patch it.
Fire.
On 1st and 10, it's Lindsey. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Here we go.
Brings up 2nd and 8.
Switch it.
Switch recon. 132 fighter.
Watch out.
On 2nd down now, it's Lindsey. And he's got this pretty close to a first down as the tackle is made at the Packers' 36.
Okay, he didn't break that one all the way, but you got to know that he feels like he's right on the verge, and that's probably exactly what he's telling him in the huddle right now.
Indy, X3, 218, chopper.
A first carry for Trenton Cannon, and they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. He needed... He got 1, and that's going to leave him with 4th down and a yard.
Every time I see a coach challenge a spot, that makes me a little bit nervous for that coach. Those are very difficult to get overturned.
Well, the biggest reason, correct me if I'm wrong, is just technology. A lot of times you just don't have the angle.
Yeah, I think all the coaches, when they want to challenge that type of a play, they want to put the magnets or the things, the sensors in the ball to show exactly where it is. But right now, it's all about us humans.
Would have been a decently long field goal, 51 yards from here, but instead they're going to go for it. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete, but there is a flag. And on 4th down, this is a big call. So they decline the penalty. That seems a little odd.
I'm trying to work through it and work with them to figure out why.
Well, someone's got to be confused.
That's what I think. I'm pretty sure that the bench is saying take the penalty, and somehow in the heat of the moment, they thought they were saying decline the penalty, and that's going to work against them. They should have taken it.
Let's put that team on the clock. 56 the mark, boy. 56. Check.
Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. That's complete to the former Aggie, Jay Sternberger. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 23 yards on the play.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it. Sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
Got a man open. It's Adams. Touchdown, Green Bay. Davante Adams. His 6th touchdown of the season as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. A nice throw there by the second-year quarterback.
And I don't believe that's the kind of play he would have made as a rookie, because usually your rookie season is a continuation of your college days. A lot of one read, and if you don't have it, you just take off and go. Now he's settled in the pocket a little bit more, reading the field and getting to a second and sometimes third progression. That was a nice play.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line.
At their own 23-yard line.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them.
It's now 3rd and 2.
The Packers bringing in an extra member of the secondary here to try for the third down stop.
Hey, orbit.
Fight two, Mike. Mike, fight two. Mike, fight two. Here you go.
Back to throw here. And he's got his target. That's Moore. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Denver has a first down on the 15-yard play.
Ready. 60 Pittsburgh. Hard.
Check safety.
Get it.
And this one complete to Burnett. And he lost the football. And the Packers pick it up. And his guys will set up shop at midfield at the 50-yard line.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jannard Avery. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. They'll set up to throw. Throwing left side here, and it's complete.
It's a gain of 13.
They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. He'll look to throw. And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one goes for 24 yards. They'll look to throw now on 1st down. And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Devontae Adams with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. And the Packers are able to stretch that lead out further. Extra point right down the middle. And it's now 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Pinheiro to kick it off. And the mile-high air in full effect as that's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
Hey, Echo.
Mike 56. Mike 56. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up.
Here's 2nd and 8. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It's way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
He's going to air one out. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 46. And a return across midfield and to the 46-yard line.
And, Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
Now a nice play defensively on first down as this is knocked away and incomplete.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And he rifles one incomplete. The turnover put him in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
Hey, alert 3, alert 3. Kill.
Back to throw. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. The field position game, such an overlooked facet, Charles, of an NFL game, but this offense, they're going to be pinned back. What an ideal punt.
An ideal punt, and it leads to that term complementary football, because them doing that puts their defense in a great spot, doesn't it? Gives them a chance. If they want to be aggressive, try and maybe get a safety out of this whole thing, it puts them in that position.
A nice-looking play to start the drive down the middle and complete. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 20. A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Broncos first down.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
This quarterback now 5 out of 10, 50% throwing it. Not so hot, but he does have a first down.
He's coming.
On first down, Lindsey. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
On 2nd down, it's Lindsey. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. They'll set up a throw. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick, and he'll actually lose about 7 yards on the return, but they have possession of the football on the turnover.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
56, check 56.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jannard Avery picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Well, maybe that can give him a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a jolt. One of the few things that's gone right defensively.
Because other than that, it's really been a first half to forget. So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. And now a throw here secured by his running back out of the backfield. And he'll get it down to the 47 here.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
Out of the gun now on 3rd down. And that will be incomplete. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, if you don't win on third down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, you're relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
The Broncos take over first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Let's go.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay.
Here we go.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
Hey, Alpha. You let me know right now.
2nd and 9 now. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. 1:57 to go in this first half on EA Sports. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join, who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Sorry, we get slap happy up here sometimes. Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that. And thus far, they've been successful.
A terrific return. 30 yards all in all. And the Packers will have a short field to work with here as they take over 1st and 10.
Check. Lucky.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. 2nd down.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had to fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to hit the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete. Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they did incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the first down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
They'll look to throw here. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 40. Past the 20. 10, and he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown. Brett Maher on for the extra point. And that one makes it 14-7. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in. But I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. That's caught inside the 20. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a tick under a minute to go before half. So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down.
Mike 5-4, Mike 5-4, Mike 5-4. Watch the run, watch the run. Hey, watch that, go.
They'll look to throw.
Watch the screen.
Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29. The sack there by Bradley Chubb.
I don't know about you, but if I'm the offensive line coach right now, I'm having an absolute fit. This team that they're going against has 3 sacks, yet they rank dead last in the league in sacks coming into this game.
Maybe overlooked them a little bit?
Could be. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if they've just gotten fortunate along the way. I have no real great answer for it, but we're seeing something you don't often see.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense, they spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. Still a little bit of time left here in the second quarter, but they do get 3 before the half and expand that lead.
And they have to be happy about that. And we haven't met a team yet that doesn't put an emphasis on trying to get points on the board in the last 2 minutes of a half. They'll be real excited to have those up on the board.
Denver offense at the line, ready to go. We're under 20 seconds to go in the half. I'm guessing the wise play here is be safe.
That is the wise play, because if you think about trying to fool them here, here's what you're facing. You're facing a loosened up secondary, playing a lot deeper than normal. So even if you run some type of misdirection, you're only going to fool them for a second or so. And guess what? They're so deep, they're really not going to be out of position. Take the knee, get to the locker room.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Here's a 2nd and 7. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down.
Hey, wahoo! Christian, travel.
This time they stay on the ground. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They'll throw now on the final play. He's going to look deep for more. And at the 7-yard line, the catch is made. And he's in for the touchdown on the final play of the first half. The prayer is answered.
How did they get that done?
And with the clock at all zeros, they get the touchdown to make this just a 1-score game into the lockers.
And you know what else it does? Besides boost their confidence, it doesn't change your game plan any. See, if they're down bigger going into the half, you may have to revise what you plan to do in the second. But now in this spot, within 1 score and striking distance, you go ahead and keep playing and do what you've worked on all week long.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. They have the lead now. They'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? you adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. It's caught here by Adams. It's a big play that time for the Packers. 45 yards. I guess that answers the question of whether or not they're going to try to play conservative and protect this lead in the third quarter.
And I think this is something we're seeing more and more of in the NFL. Teams not playing to protect leads, teams playing to extend them.
So the big play has them all the way down to the 30 now for 1st and 10. Now this one to his running back out of the backfield. And down inside the 15 he goes. The catch and run there, good for 16 and a first.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen, because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and this is what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Picked off inside the 5. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. He's at the 30. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown.
Now that was a beautiful play. A pick 6. How would you punctuate something like that, partner?
Oh, you mean with an exclamation mark?
Exclamation mark, a big word. What would you do with that?
Ampersand?
I like it.
Extra point by Moore, up and good. And that will make this a 4-point game. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And last time, decent field position through the pick 6. Obviously costly.
But they can't afford to just bunker in now. All right? Good field position means go ahead and attack on offense. Try and press the advantage a little bit. They just have to be better with the football on this possession.
So that didn't bother you too much last time?
No, because it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't have good field position and not try to take advantage of it. Sometimes the defense makes a good play, too.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jeremiah Tauchu. Give him the credit for the sack and a loss of 14 yards. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
56. Mike, 56.
No run call here. They'll look to throw instead. He's going to air one out. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down. Those passes out that far wide always make you hold your breath a little bit. Felt like it was in the air for a while.
What it does is it allows a defender to gain some ground, come from a long distance, and have a chance to affect the pass.
Let's go.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11.
Let's go, team. It's going to be a long day, offense. It's going to be a long day.
Mike 55, Mike 55. Hey, eat. Record.
2nd and 11. Steps away to his left. And he's going to have the hook up to Burnett. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
Let's go.
On any given pass play, you never know exactly where your exit points are going to be. On this play, he was flushed to his left, still on the run, able to accurately throw the football for a nice first down.
They'll run on first down. Lindsey. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
At the 43.
30 base. Hey, stand on. Ready?
They'll go again with Lindsey. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down. A couple of plays sent them the wrong way, and now they face a 3rd and 14.
Get ready.
Hey, exit.
55, Mike, guys, 55. Okay, double up. Mike, 55.
Be friendly.
They're going to look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Adrian Amos with a pick. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line.
I tell you, Brandon, it seems like this guy's been all over the field so far. That's his 2nd interception of the game. And so much of playing defense in the NFL, especially when it comes to defending the pass, is all about positioning and technique. And this is fantastic work on both fronts there.
Mike 20.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Got an open man. It's Valdez-Scantling. That's good for 28 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. The 20. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. Devontae Adams, the intended receiver. That'll bring up 2nd down. Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And he's going to get stopped up quickly. Give him a yard down to the 43.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Looking to throw. Hard throw, incomplete.
Well, to say that this has not been his game is probably a big understatement. I mean, he is all over the place. Mechanics are off, not accurate, except if you're playing on defense, because they picked off a good number of passes.
Yeah, all the INTs, but they're throwing it off his back foot. Pressure coming, just chucking it downfield. He can't do that right now.
No, you can't do that at all. And I think one of the hardest things for a guy having a day like this one is to find a way to just kind of get out of it, kind of get yourself back to neutral. Because what you try and do is make even more spectacular plays to make up for it, and it usually leads to more bad ones.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. He's got his man, Valdez-Scantling. 13 yards, first down, Packers.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
This quarterback now nearing the 300-yard mark with still a quarter to play. It's 1st and 10. Back to throw here. Going to throw right side here, complete. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. Give them 18 on that play, and Green Bay has the first as well. This quarterback now over 300 yards down for the game, and time to improve on that as he's got a 1st and 10. And they try to sweep to Jones. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah.
Under pressure, and he'll 26-yard line. Bradley Chubb able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Packers on third down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. This will be third and forever.
56, right there, 56.
You gonna see me in your nightmares, son. You gonna see me in your nightmares.
They'll set up to throw. And that is incomplete.
Well, he's been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
The kick by Pinheiro is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So with that field goal, this one's now back within a field goal. Maybe not the ultimate result they wanted, but gets them that much closer.
This game is unfolding like a really good book, isn't it? Because I feel like there's a few more plot twists yet to be revealed before this one is over.
Got it.
Denver offense at the line, ready to go. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4's kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, and what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31.
Quick dash. Go.
80 weapon.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there. And on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously. But at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Foxtrot. Right.
On first down, he'll drop to throw. Flush to his right. And this would have been intercepted if he could have gotten the feet in. Instead, it's incomplete. Boy, that really could have turned this one upside down.
Here we go. Set.
They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10.
Let's pick it up. It's our time.
Protein spill.
The first carry for Josh Adams. He only got a couple on that one, so not a ton of help. They'll have a 3rd and 8 forthcoming. He was close to flirting with that sideline, but able to stay in bounds like his coach wants him to do and keep that clock moving.
Isn't it funny that we're watching this play when we had that discussion just yesterday about this? What do you do in this scenario? What do what's your mindset? It appeared to me that he'd totally forgotten that he needed to stay in bounds, and then the last second, oh no, I better get down. And he ended up doing the right thing. But at that point, maybe close to let this slip away.
He'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up. Critical play in this football game, because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them, because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And the Packer drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
And they had a long drive last time, but they had to settle for a field goal, and I'm sure that's how it felt to them, settling. They probably should have gotten in the end zone.
Yeah, not out-and-out joy, right? Because that's what you get when you put the ball in the end zone. But there are benefits to that type of a long drive. Your defense gets a chance to take a break, adjust a little bit, maybe get themselves ready to get back out on the field and play a little bit better. So they'll take the benefit even though they wanted the 6 points.
And maybe wore down the other defense. We'll see.
Now a man open down the middle of the field. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. A good-looking drive for the Packers so far. It's a first down.
First down, Green Bay.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
Right there, 54, right there, 54 Mike.
No game on this defense, no game.
Back to throw. And he's got his man on the out route. It's a gain of 12, and the Packers have the first.
To Marquez Valdez-Scantling. A gain of 12. First down, Packers.
We saw a number of good games earlier today. This one might top all of those. It's been a dandy as we come up on 1st and 10.
58 Mike.
Now back to throw. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. It's a gain of 16 and a first down for the green and gold. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And he's eaten up at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard down to the 16.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
And he fends him off. Dancing to his left. Pass incomplete.
I'd love to know what he's saying in the huddle now to his guys up front because it's been a steady stream of pressure on him this entire game. That time, able to avoid the sack, but he's got to talk to his offensive line and say, guys, just a couple seconds extra, please.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big third down. He'll drop to throw. Eluding the pressure right. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he nearly got the first himself, but it appears he's going to be about a yard or two short. That was play number 7 on this drive, and it got him 7 yards. The kick by Pinheiro is good. And with that, they will move ahead by 2 here in the 4th. So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
Out routes are always timing routes, and if the timing's off just a little bit, it can really throw off a play. It looked like he led him a little too much there.
Yeah, there was a fraction of a second because he caught it, just couldn't stay in bounds.
Watch safety 3.
Blue draw Porker.
Safety 3.
On second down now. It's Lindsey, and they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. It'll be a gain of 2, and speaking of 2s, it'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remain, and that's our score differential as well. 2 points here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, baby.
So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. They face a critical third down now, needing a score here in the late going.
56, Mike, 56, right there.
They'll set up the throw. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off at the 38, and he'll get this back to the 32-yard line.
And that one, it's going to hurt big time. You're in the 2-minute drill trying to get your guys down the field, and it's looking like they're going to go up just short, as this is definitely not his best throw. And it'll wind up being intercepted.
On first down, Jones. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts, and they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. And they'll keep on the ground with Jones. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play.
At the 17-yard line.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. On the counter, here's Jones. And he'll take this one down near the 15. 2 yards the gain there, and now they're left with a third and about 4 for first. After that run, still a good amount of meat on the bone here for this third down play. Can you envision them putting this in the air?
Totally. I mean, look at who he has under center right now. If you can't trust him with the football, you can't trust anyone. And frankly, to me, I want the ball down the stretch. Get the first down, keep it in the hands of my offense. I don't want to turn it over to them and rely on my D.
Check 9, check 9.
They'll try and run for it with Jones. And this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short. Now the Broncos will use their third and final timeout as they get it with under a minute to go now in the football game. The kick by Pinheiro is good. And that will push the lead up to 5. So they get to 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. They're down here in a one-score game. At the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late-game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now it's their chance to execute them.
Yeah, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25.
Hey, back up. I can't believe they even let you play. Mike 56. Mike 56. Hey, 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 hey. Mike 56. Mike 56. Go. Just like that.
Ready?
Back to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a third down. These are the spots, this stage of the game, where it pays to have speed on the perimeter, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And in the second quarter, he may very well run by him. But in this situation, I know as a defender, I'm loosening up a couple of extra steps that allowed him to run with him stride for stride.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And the throw there going to be incomplete. This defense looking impenetrable now. 3 straight incompletions. They're giving him nowhere to go with the football. Maybe a little frustrated back there?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you've missed on 3 straight, there's going to be some frustration. But now he's got to make sure that that frustration is temporary, not lingering. Big throw coming up.
And down by 5. They've got to go for it here on 4th down.
Ain't no such thing as a loss. We taking win home.
56 to Mott, boy. 56. Check 56.
He's back to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. Give him 14 yards there and a Denver first down. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Preston Smith in there to drop him as that clock continues to run. So after the sack, a scenario you certainly don't work on too often. 2nd and 24. Well, we saw a close game that kept us on the edge of our seats down to that final whistle. And right before that final whistle, defense with one last exclamation mark there, getting the sack to end it.
I love how you phrased it because we were waiting to see what would happen. Obviously, we thought something would happen downfield. Instead, it happens in the offensive backfield, and that's your ball game.
So for Green Bay, the win is number 9 for them on the year. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Broncos, it's a bit of a setback as they drop to 6-4 now. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head to Houston to take on the Texans. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.